but I've been Baptist, I've been in the Methodist church, all of that. Be honest. What's going on, everybody? What is going on, everybody? Listen, I am excited to be here. Oh my God, I'm excited to be here. It has been a long weekend. Long weekend, man. Shout out to Mountain Dew for this game fuel. Shout out to him, man. Listen, man, I'm excited, man. Before I do anything, man, I want to thank you guys for joining us and supporting us, man, on Bishop Chronicles podcast, these last 10 episodes. It has really, truly been a blessing. Listen, want to encourage you guys, please, man, make sure you go get my new book, Unlocking Your Purpose, Given Culture, and also go get the Get Pumped Up Theory. Your mindset will determine your future. You can get them at Amazon.com, or you can just holler at me via Cash App or Givelify. We can take care of everything. Listen, man, we got a great show for you guys. You know I'm still in my series, Marriage Exposed. We're on part 4 of this. And, you know, people keep asking me, well, how far is this thing going to go? I promise you, this is the last episode. This is the last episode on Marriage Exposed because I'm going to cover a lot of different areas on today. I'm going to cover a lot of different areas, okay? So I want you guys to ring with me. I want you to give me your comments. I promise you this is probably going to be the most controversial show yet, okay? This is going to be the most controversial podcast, man, that I've done in a long time, okay? I know I'm going to ruffle some feathers. Listen, I want all the smoke. I want all the emotions. I want all the information. I want all of that, okay? Because it has to happen, because there's some things that I want to discuss now that I believe will help set people free in their marriage, or at least the idea that they have of marriage, okay? Before I do anything, man, I just want to make sure that I go over my sponsors real quickly. Want to give a shout out to Kingdom Faith Empowerment Center, my church, Creative Consultant, Pillow Talk Podcast, of course, my very own Bishop Chronicles Podcast, and of course, Lady Love herself, hashtag Rescue Me Podcast, Miss Dunn and Ryan Russell. Hey, I love those guys. Thank you so much for sponsoring our show. Also, my sorority sister and my Eastern Star sister. Thank you, Miss Ebony Thomas. God bless you with Prime America. She has been sponsoring this show for quite some time. I love her. Thank you so much for being a blessing. We love you. What's going on, Frat? How you doing, Brian? Listen, if you guys want to be a sponsor of the show, if you want to support the show, do me a favor. You can text me. You can call me, or you can reach me through social media. My number is 214-325-3529. If you want to just be a blessing to the show, you're more than welcome to do that. You're more than welcome to do it through Cash App at Dr. Holly Mays. Please, go check it out. Do me a favor, guys. I'm trying to start a new trend because we're getting ready to go on YouTube for the remainder of our season. Make sure everything you guys do, man, do a hashtag Bishop Chronicles Podcast. I know it's a long word. Trying to figure out how to make it shorter, but y'all bear with me on this one, okay? But do a hashtag Bishop Chronicles Podcast, all right? Listen, just want to let you guys know we are still talking about Marriage Exposed, Part 4, okay? You can follow me on all my Instagram, Twitter, and Facebook at Bishop Chronicles Podcast. But we are doing Marriage Exposed. Please do me a favor. Make sure you go and have everybody come in. Share this thing, all right? Connect it with your friends. I'm telling you, every married couple, everybody in a relationship, I need you to have them on this show, okay? Please. All right? So what's the topic for today? You guys can see it right there at the bottom. You can see it's what's inappropriate and appropriate behavior in marriage. I thought this was a great topic because, listen, I am so sick and tired of people trying to deem what's appropriate and inappropriate based on your emotions or based on things that you got going on, okay? And I just want to be very clear. What I'm going to talk about today is not just opinion, it is fact, okay? It is fact. It is fact. So at the end of the day, listen, I want your guys' comments. I want you guys' questions. I want all of those things, all right? Because we're going to address everything on this show. So if you put it in the comment box, watch this. If you put it in the comment box, I'm going to mention it, okay? So don't put nothing in the comment box if you don't want me to say nothing, all right? So at the end of the day, that's how we're going to roll with that, all right? Awesome. So listen, once again, before we get started, man, just want to put social media stuff up there so you guys can follow us at Facebook, Instagram, and YouTube at Bishop Chronicles Podcast, all right? So what's inappropriate, appropriate behavior in marriage? So I got a couple of topics that I'm going to talk about, and I'm going to ask once again, hey, give me your comments. Give me your comments, okay? So let's talk about what makes something inappropriate or appropriate or in the gray area. Let me say that as well, because there's a lot of gray area when it comes to marriage. It really is. There's a lot of gray area, okay? So when something is appropriate, that means that the spouse and the person that you're doing it to are in agreement with it. They're cool with it. And watch this. That may be questionable, okay, depending on who the people are. But if it's appropriate when the spouse and the other person is in agreement with it, okay? It's inappropriate when 9 times out of 10, which is just 9 times out of 10, the spouse does not know about it and the person is feeling uncomfortable with it, or it's something that's being hidden from the spouse. And I'll go over some examples as well, because a lot of people, one person may be acceptable of it, but the spouse don't know nothing about it, because if the spouse knew something about it, guess what? They'd be like, nah, we're not doing that. And a gray area is something where, you really don't know if it's you or them. I'll give a quick example of gray area, appropriate or inappropriate. If you in a job, and I've had this happen to me. You're at a job, and now you got a lady there, okay, and y'all are really good friends. She has a man, you got a woman, okay, whatever, and y'all call each other job bae or whatever. What is it, work bae or something like that? Job, work bae, whatever. Okay, and it's all in fun and games. Well, obviously, if my wife heard about that, or her man or husband heard about that, they'd be like, "Yo, dog, that's not funny to me." But to y'all, it's like it's just fun and games. There's nothing; it'll never go anywhere. That could be considered a gray area. Okay. That could be considered a gray area, And we'll talk about that once again. We'll talk about that a little bit more. Once again, you guys let me know as I'm going through the podcast, what do you consider appropriate? What do you consider inappropriate? What do you consider a gray area? If there's some situation that you've had and you really want to talk about it, or you really want to discuss it, let's do it on the show. Okay, because I give you guys my expert opinion. Okay, cool. So let's go ahead and jump right into it. Let's talk about some appropriate things. Okay? Let's talk about some appropriate things. All right. Before I do that, guys, I want to make sure that I am covering all my bases, because people will get mad at me if I do not. All righty. Listen, want to make sure that you guys catch Dallas Confidential TV every single Saturday at 2:30. Man, got a wonderful cast with me. We have Miss Dawn Russell, her husband Ryan Russell. We have Mr. John Shook Johnson, and of course you have yours truly, Dr. Holly Mays. Listen, this show, man, it covers everything. We talk about everything. We talked about collecting college coins last week. We talked about the money that you need for all of the for colleges and all of that stuff, and it was awesome. It was awesome. So at the end of the day, man, please go back and check out this show. Please go back and please pay attention to it. Please pay attention to it. It was really good information. It really was a lot that you could get from it. So I encourage parents, I encourage students that are getting ready to go to college to go check it out. Also, we got a men's conference. We got a men's conference coming up, guys. It's still May 22nd through May 24th. Please, as of right now, that's tentative, okay? Depending on what coronavirus does, depending on what's going on. Yeah, Brian, we're in Dallas. Yes, I'm in Dallas. But that still is on the move, okay? So I haven't heard anything different. We still got a great lineup. Still got some wonderful teachers that are going to be doing our workshop on Saturday. So please make sure that you put this on your schedule. I'm telling you, it is going down. And if you are in the Dallas-Fort Worth area, do me a favor, man. Y'all make sure y'all stop by Kingdom Faith Empowerment Center, where every Sunday at 2 p.m. and 7 p.m., Tuesday night, Bible studies at 1 p.m. and 7 p.m. We are getting it in with the word of the Lord. So please join me and my wife, Stephanie Mays, as we come out and impart into the people of God what thus says the Lord. Amen? Amen. Let's get back to it. So, let's get back to talking about it. What is appropriate and what is inappropriate? I never do anything. So, listen, on this show, I'm going to tell you right now, on this show, y'all going to hear a lot from my wife. I'm going to tell you this right now. I'm going to be reading a lot of comments from my wife because my wife has a lot to say when it comes to that. I'm telling you right now, okay? She is a big advocate when it comes to marriage. She is a big advocate when it comes to right and wrong, appropriate and inappropriate. And I'm going to expose myself because I'm going to tell you about a situation that happened with me that, you know, I guess maybe it could have been inappropriate or appropriate. I don't know, depending on who's looking at it. But at the end of the day, we're going to talk about it, okay? So let's talk about what some things that are appropriate. Complimenting someone. Listen, I'm going to be real with you, man. Everybody that give you a compliment is not trying to hit on you. Okay, let's just say that right now. Everybody that's giving you a compliment is not trying to hit on you. Just because you insecure or just because you think more of yourself than everybody else do does not mean that if somebody says, oh man, that's a nice dress, or hey man, you know, you're dressed really nice, or you're extremely handsome, or you're really pretty, that does not mean that somebody is trying to hit on you. Okay? Compliments are okay, people. Compliments are okay. Now, we're going to talk about the type of compliments that some people give, but come on now. If some people compliment y'all, I don't care if you married, women, y'all quit doing that. Men, y'all quit doing that. We know you want to, let people know your loyalty to your spouse or whatever, but that's an insecurity problem, or that's a fact that you done got caught doing something you ain't never been, you weren't supposed to be doing. Because if you're secure in your marriage and secure in who you are, people should be able to compliment you. I get tired of going and I see somebody with a nice dress on that I think would look good on my wife, and I'm like, hey man, that is an awesome dress. Hey, where did you get that from? Oh, I'm married. Well, man, I understand that. I'm married too. But I love that dress and my wife is around your size. I would love to know where you got that from. Oh no, I'm not interested. Wait, hold on. Y'all chill out with that. Y'all chill out with that. Compliments are okay in marriage. I'm telling you this right now. Y'all quit doing it. Okay? Compliments are okay in marriage. Hugging people. Listen, it's okay to hug people. Okay? It is okay to, church people, y'all do it all the time and ain't no pun intended. Okay? So when you out there, if I see one of my old friends or y'all quit getting all mad and jealous spouses just because your spouse run into an old friend and want to hug them. Y'all chill out with that, man. For real, man. I was out with a friend of mine and I think his wife, and we was out doing something and an old friend of his came up, old friend, like junior high or something. And she came up and was like, oh, Eric, hey, it's me, Sandra. She was like, oh, okay, cool. And they hugged each other. And the wife, got all bent all out of shape. Like she came and tried to holler at him. And she didn't even know that her husband was in the store right next door. Y'all chill out with that, okay? Listen, it's okay to hug people, okay? Especially if they doing it in your face. Now, I'm not saying this old groping and all of that, but to hug somebody, that's what we do in American culture. We hug people. We shake hands. We're very affectionate people. That's really the nature of the world we live in. Y'all quit acting. If you go over to other countries, especially English countries, French countries, they don't talk to you. They hug, they kiss, and they don't ain't no pun behind it. It ain't no. I can tell when somebody is non-cultural because cultural things will happen, and you'll act just like you straight from Oak Cliff. I'm just being real with you. You'll act just like you from Oak Cliff. Like, hold on, wait, you don't even understand. That's a part of their culture. So be very careful about getting mad as a spouse because someone hugged your husband or somebody hugged your wife. If you're insecure about your marriage, then guess what? You're probably going to have a problem with that because you think everybody's trying to get at your wife or everybody's trying to get at your husband, especially if they look cute. Especially if they look cute. Okay? Oh, absolutely. My wife was saying you know the not too much though because you know the difference in the types of hugs. Absolutely. Like I say, groping is something that you don't do. Okay, you can't be rubbing down my wife's back, or you can't be hugging me and all of a sudden trying to get a feel and whispering in my ear in your mouth. You know, I get all of that. You understand what I'm saying? But that's the things that we're going to talk about when we're talking about inappropriate. But appropriate things, y'all know those little 10-second hugs. Y'all know those little 5-second hugs where people pat you on the back and hug you and it look like y'all dancing and y'all ain't supposed to. You understand what I'm talking about. Y'all quit acting been all out of shape because somebody greets you with a hug or somebody want a hug. Now, if you one of them people that just don't like people up on you, that's great. Hey, let people know that. But if they don't know and they want to hug you, they not hugging you because that's they shot at trying to, get at you because you fine. All right? That's not what they're doing. Okay, so please, man, it is completely appropriate for somebody to hug you. It's completely appropriate. The next thing is I'm going to say this, and I'm gonna wait for my wife's response on this. It is completely okay in a marriage to have conversation with somebody else. It is okay to have a conversation with somebody else. Y'all quit getting mad because you married and you see your man having a conversation with another woman, or you see your wife having a conversation with another man. Y'all chill out with that. So many non-essential arguments and non-essential situations occur domestically because people are feeling all messed up just because you got caught having a conversation with the opposite sex. It is completely okay. Because some people react because you're insecure. And 9 times out of 10, the reason you're reacting that way is because either A, you got caught cheating and you think this is payback, or B, you got low self-esteem and you think that person is better than you. The only thing I'm going to tell you to do is get your game up. Okay? That's all I'm going to tell you. Get your game up. You know what I'm saying? And you're right, honey. My wife said, but watch the tempo and context, though. Completely understand. It's what you say versus that you're talking at all. Sometimes we don't know what the conversation is. So if you don't know what the conversation is, you can't get an attitude, because if you get an attitude, watch this. If you get an attitude, then you've already assumed the conversation was inappropriate. So at the end of the day, married men and women, you got to be very careful. This is where, and I talked about this in I think episode 2, you got to make sure that communication is a big part of your marriage, because watch this. If you are not able to go to your spouse and be like, hey, what was that about? If that's the way you feel it, hey, listen, I for my own safety, what was that about? And if you can say, well, hey, that was about blah, 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 okay, great. But at the end of the day, don't accuse someone of doing something wrong just because they had a conversation with another female or another man. That is completely appropriate to have conversation. I seen people at my job, and this young lady, man, bless her heart. And listen, that I understand culture. I understand culture because a lot of African Indian cultures, they're very distant from American men and women. I get that. Well, the men can be as close as they want, but the women got to act all distant. But my whole thing is this. I understand that if you are at work, I can't sit up here and act like, oh, you can't say nothing at work. You understand what I'm saying? I can't sit up here and be like, hey, you can't talk to nobody at work. That's complete. This is not slave time. This is not caveman time. And if you got your wife and your husband sitting up not being able to have a conversation at work because they don't want to be accused, or your homegirl work at the job, and just because he's talking to this cute girl that just started, or this cute girl over in human resources, y'all think that he's cheating, when in reality, he's just having a great conversation. You understand what I'm saying? You got to check your ego at the door. You got to check all that stuff at the door. Okay, that's completely appropriate to have a conversation, especially if you don't know what the conversation is. If you don't know what the conversation is, you might want to find out what the conversation is before you start assuming you have an inappropriate conversation. Too many marriages end because all you had was consecutive or consistent conversation with somebody. And just to be honest with you, let's just keep it 100. Listen, a lot of conversations I may have is with somebody that can relate to a subject that my wife don't relate to. It don't mean that my wife is unimportant or illiterate or any of those things, but my wife don't talk a lot when it comes to certain things, especially when it comes to scriptural things. So if I'm talking to another young lady and she's a pastor or a minister, then guess what? You can't get upset because that conversation is extensive when it comes to things that your spouse may not be as versed on. So, and all I'm saying is this. All I'm saying is this, guys, you got to be a little bit more open-minded in your marriage. You got to be a little bit more tolerant and tolerable when it comes to your marriage. Okay, too many marriages end or go to separation because someone is just not tolerable. You're not tolerating certain things, and you're not tolerating certain things means that you're just not being open enough to, or open-minded enough to look at things. Everybody's not cheating just because they're not talking to you. Okay? And I'm saying that because too many men get beat up because they get caught having a conversation. And don't get me wrong, it's the most oddest situation ever because if a man jump because you don't want to be like, hey, and they don't think that you're supposed to beat her or they don't know you're supposed to beat her, but then you pop up and you think because they jumped they were doing something inappropriate. No, it is completely okay to have a conversation with somebody that is not your spouse. Completely okay. Listen, but tell me what you think about it. You know, how would you react if you walked on your man's job or your wife's job and you found out that they were talking to another young lady or they was in the office kikiing and ha-haing and laughing in the office? What would be your response? What would you think? Okay? Guys, leave it on the comment. Please put it in the comments, man. I want to read them. I want to know what you would think because we need to discuss this. All right, but real quickly before we do that, man, I want to go back to my sponsors real quick. Just want to go ahead and check out my sponsors again. Of course, it's my very own Kingdom Faith Empowerment Center. It's my very own Bishop Chronicles podcast, and also my very own. You got Pillow Talk podcast and creative consultant. Also, guys, if you want to be a sponsor of the show, please do me a favor. If you just want to support the show, do me a favor. Cash App Dr. Holly Mays, or you can call or text Dr. Holly Mays at 214-325-3529. Listen, we need your help because we want to make sure that we expand this show, grow this show, and take it to another level. So we need your help. We need lights. We need cameras. We need backdrops. We need everything to make sure that we give you guys the best possible show ever, okay? Back to the show. Listen. We are dealing with Marriage Exposed Part 4. What's inappropriate? What's appropriate behavior in marriage? A couple things that we said was appropriate is complimenting someone, hugging, conversation. Those things are appropriate. Those things are cool, within good taste. We're not talking about if you're groping. We're not talking about if you know this other type stuff. We're talking about, hey, if it's legitimate conversation, complimenting someone, hugging someone, you know how you church folk do, and conversation, all right? The next thing I think is completely appropriate. Shout out to Mountain Dew Amp. Game Fuel, man. This stuff is awesome, man. No calories, no sugar. Awesome, man. Shout out to those guys. Listen, this is one that's iffy, but I'm going to say it because I personally don't do it a lot, but I don't think anything is wrong with it. I don't think anything is wrong with it. Texting someone. Let me be very clear, okay? Because I'm going to tell you about a situation. Watch this. I'm going to tell you a situation that happened to me. And yes, I'm going to expose it. So I'm getting ready. Everybody know I do a lot of things. I do podcasts. I do movies. I'm getting into short movies. I do talk shows and I do ministry. I do fitness. I do a lot of things. Okay, and a lot of times I'm not. I don't know a lot of things. Okay, and YouTube can only take you so far. So you may know some people, or people may be recommended to you to give you some insight, because they have firsthand knowledge or experience. So I was recommended to someone to reach out to, and I'm married, and I don't think that person is married. Maybe they are, I don't know. But maybe that person is not married, but I'm married. And so I reached out to the person like, hey, listen, I'm getting ready to do a movie, a short film, and I saw that you had some experience in this. Would love to pick your brain. Okay. Now I sent this through Messenger. Okay. Now listen to me. Now I sent this through Messenger. That was exactly what it is. Hey, hit me up when you get a chance. And make a long story short, what was brought back to me was I thought it was inappropriate that this person was being texted, and I'm a married man. Let me be very clear with y'all, all right? Let me be very clear. Texting is okay, all right? Texting with good taste is okay. I'm going to be very, very straightforward with you. If somebody texts, my wife has friends that are not women. They are men. And I'm not going to put my man's name out there, but I love this guy, man. He is a great entrepreneur. He's doing some great things, man. I wish I could put his name out there, check out his music. Matter of fact, I'm going to throw it out to Jason Connolly. Man, I love this guy's music, man. Super duper guy, man. But listen. My wife says texting is sketchy, and that's why I'm putting it out there, honey. Because watch this, they text each other, okay? And listen, let me tell you something. This guy was instrumental when my son was born. He was instrumental when my son was born. He was there, man. Oh my God, man! If it wasn't for him on certain things, man, we wouldn't have been able to make it happen. And I'm thankful to him. But he texts my wife. They went to school together. So watch this now. Somebody may say, well, hold on, how you know nothing going on? Well, let me tell you something. Character means a lot. If I don't know my wife's character, or if my wife don't know my character to be inappropriate, I'm not going to start thinking inappropriate thoughts. If my wife is texting someone and I know her character and I know who she is, I don't have nothing to worry about. Because if I thought her character was in question, then we wouldn't be together no way. Or we would have put her out to some other thing. Here's my point. Texting is okay when it's in good taste. When it's in good taste, okay? Y'all quit getting all with your panties in a bunch just because somebody texts you and want to get some information. The problem is we don't like talking to one another. We think everybody, based on our past, is the same way as that thing that was in our past. Sometimes people don't really want to get at you no matter how cute you are. They just want information from you. So in my mind, texting is completely okay. It's okay to text. Come on in here, honey. Come in here. Go get your phone and bring it in here and sit down. My daughter got scared, y'all. So I had to interrupt my podcast because my daughter got scared. Sit down. So close my door. So at the end of the day, I believe texting is completely okay. Texting is completely okay. Is it on? Come here. Y'all give a shout out to my daughter. There you go, baby. All right. So I believe that. I believe texting is completely okay. Now, once again, like my wife said, it's sketchy. It's sketchy. You got to be very careful about what's being done. My wife, watch this. My wife has access to everything I own. Laptop, all my phones. I don't have a phone my wife can't get in contact with. My passcodes are the same. She has access to my laptop, my pad. There's no device. There's nothing that my wife doesn't have access to. So texting is not an issue for me. It's not an issue. At any given time, my wife can grab my pad. At any given time, she can grab my phone. And sometimes people excuse me, they get confused because you're looking at something that happened in your past and you think everybody that tries to reach out to you is the same way. So listen, I agree with texting. I'm cool with texting. What does it say? I'm gonna read some of the comments. Y'all. It says, Don says, I text and work with me constantly, but my husband has full access to his wife, i.e. me, at all times, as well as my electronic devices to what I am doing with what I am saying. Absolutely. So I don't have a problem with texting. I don't have a problem with my wife texting. We may joke every now and then. You understand what I'm saying? But I don't have a problem with texting. You know what I'm saying? And I don't think it's inappropriate in marriage. I really don't. Especially when you know the character and you know the personality and you trust your mate. Now, if you don't trust them, then that's a problem. That's a whole different thing. That's far beyond texting or phone calls or any of that thing. Because some of y'all got people that the reason why you get mad at them for texting is because you know you done caught them cheat. Brian says, texting is the easiest thing to take out of context, so texting should be, absolutely, it should be careful. But that goes back to the relationship between you and your mate. The problem is we don't like being extremely honest about how we feel about our mate. We don't want to tell our wife or our husband, hey, I don't trust you enough. Because maybe you saw something that was inappropriate. Maybe you was a part of something that was inappropriate. Maybe you heard something that made you, and it makes you feel like, no, I don't trust you. So, hey, listen, I don't want you to be texting. You know, my wife says same for my stuff, and he can track the movement of our phone. Oh, absolutely. We got tracking on our phone. So if wherever my wife go, wherever I go, we know exactly where it is. And we're not doing that because we can keep it, we can keep track of each other. But if something happens to me or if something happens to my wife, I know exactly where she is. You know what I'm saying? It has nothing to do with, hey, listen, I just want to keep tabs on you. You know, a lot of things that we do in marriage is minor. It's high schoolish. We got to realize marriage, and I said this last episode, marriage is a relationship times 4. You cannot be in marriage and still operate like you did when you was in a relationship in high school or college with your boo thing. Marriage is relationship times 4. The way you operate in marriage is totally different than the way you operate in relationship. Because relationship leading up to marriage, you don't get a relationship while in marriage. You get a relationship before you get married. You understand what I'm saying? And that's the way you got to operate with that. A lot of times people are getting to know one another. They're just now dealing with one another when they get married. Now you're starting to learn this. Now you're starting to understand this. And that's completely wrong. Okay? You should not be trying to grow a relationship when you get to marriage. I should already be in one. So I should already know what my wife does, and I should already know her character. And she should know mine before we get married. So now when things happen like texting, when you find out that I'm texting a chick that looks really, really good, shout out to Life 360 already. Shout out to Life 360. If you already know that, hey, listen, I can trust my husband. Don't question me about what I'm doing. I don't need your homegirl commenting on what I do, and you don't need me commenting or my homeboys commenting on what you do. Why? Because guess what? Marriage is an introvert type thing. It's not an extrovert type thing. When you become one, that one becomes introvert, which means that you only deal with stuff that's within. We involve too many people with what's going on. Real talk. We involve way too many people with what is going on and things that we find skeptical or things that we have to question. We'll go out and we'll say, oh, okay, well, I tell you what, let me go get the opinion of my homegirl and let me ask her what she think about my man texting. Or let me go get the opinion of my homeboy and let me ask him how to hear. And most of them people ain't even in relationships. Most of them people can't stay in a relationship to save their life. And you go and get the advice. Listen, texting is appropriate. Now, of course, that's with good taste. That is with good taste. Don't be checking me. Don't be checking. I don't have no business checking my wife because she got a text and she started laughing on the text. My wife joked with me sometimes. She'd be like, oh, who is that that got you laughing? Now, watch this. Let me explain something to you. We can joke like that. But I don't need to get in no altercation or no problem just because you texting somebody or somebody texts you back. And you start laughing. And you start feeling some type of way. No, you got to grow up. You got to grow up. Okay? You got to grow up. God bless you, Major Williams. Hey, man, congratulations, brother. Congratulations, man. You worked hard. on a campaign. I got to do this, man. Major Williams, man, a.k.a. Courtney Williams, man, one of the best basketball players, point guards, coming out of Lincoln High School, man, but also ran for mayor of Pasadena, if I'm not wrong on that. I think it was Pasadena, right? Awesome, man, awesome politician. I think, man, you're going to be doing some great things, man. Just want to give a shout out to you, man. But anyway, the next thing, that's completely appropriate. Recommending someone. Listen, if somebody recommended me to you, don't get mad at me. Don't sit up here and think I'm trying to holler at you because somebody told me to come holler at you. You might be an expert in something, and I might need to come see you because you got more expert. That don't mean that I'm not recommended to somebody else just because, and this was something that happened to me. It just happened. I got recommended to someone by someone else, and they assume that I'm trying to come holler at you. But that ain't even in my character. That ain't even nothing I've ever done. I've never even came and you don't even really remember how you look or none of this. But I just know that you have an expertise in something that I'm getting ready to venture in. And I reached out to you and someone thinks that I'm trying to holler at you. Listen, recommendations is a step up. When someone recommends you, that's a win for you. Don't think it's not inappropriate because somebody reached out to you to say, hey, listen, I'm doing this, and I want to get in contact with you because you have an expertise or you have experience in certain things that I need help with. If you get a chance, holler at me. You don't need to go around talking about, wait, hold on, this y'all don't think this is inappropriate or this, that, and the other. It doesn't work that way. Okay, so listen, I'm talking about things that are appropriate. Recommending somebody calling you because you got an expertise and they reaching out, even if you don't know them. Even if they're associated with somebody that you done had issue with, drama with, trauma with, all of that. It don't make no difference because you got to judge everybody on an individual situation. Too many times we judge people based on who they connected to. Y'all got to quit doing that. Just because my friend a dog don't mean I'm a dog. Just because her homegirl is a slut don't mean that she a slut. You understand what I'm saying? That's childish to me. And a lot of times we operate in marriage like children. And that's why childish stuff happens in marriage. Domestic violence is childish. Domestic abuse is childish. It's childish. I don't care who it is. I don't care how mad he or she make you. It is childish. And that stuff happens from dumb stuff like, oh, well, why are they texting you? Why are they calling you? Because I need some information. Because I'm trying to be connected to what you connected to. That's why. I'm trying to build a relationship or build a business relationship. I'm trying to do what business people do. She don't need to get beat up because somebody texts her in a DM that you don't know. That's retarded. And I don't care who know it. That is retarded. Okay? And anybody that comment on that stuff is retarded. If somebody reach out to you and they need your help and you deny them your help just because you think because you dealing with something, you crazy. Recommending someone is completely appropriate in marriage. If somebody recommend me to be a personal trainer, and just because it's a woman that reached out to me, that does not mean that my wife need to go off the deep end. It is completely okay. It is completely appropriate. I got a spiritual son of mine who is great at music. He's great at music. And watch this. If somebody reach out to him just because the woman looks as better than you think, everybody that comes to your husband or your woman is not going to be ugly. They're not going to be ugly. Some of them are going to be good looking. Especially if it got something to do with music or it got something to do with entertainment or something like that. Y'all quit being in y'all feelings just because somebody recommended your man or recommended your wife to do a service that they getting paid or they paying the bills with. I do music and now a female rapper want to come and do a song with me, but you mad because she hot. Y'all chill out with that. Recommendations are good. That's how businesses grow. You got to grow up. All right, I'm just trying to help some people in their marriage because some people got these problems in their marriage. I'm being real with you. Some people got these very issues in their marriage, these small little issues. They're arguing, fussing, yelling, cussing each other out, putting their hands on one another, slamming doors, going and getting separated, getting divorced. All is cheating on one another, all because these little small issues, these insecurity issues. And that's really what it is. Somebody insecure, and we don't want to admit it. Let's read some more comments. Let's read some more comments. All right, so Chosen Child says marriage is between three, the two people that said I do, and God. Anyone outside of that shouldn't have an input. They shouldn't. They shouldn't. That's why, if somebody recommend, my wife is an intelligent woman. I'm gonna say this, my wife is and I say this constantly, my wife is extremely smarter than me. Okay, she is. Trust me, she is extremely smarter than me. But let me tell you something. If somebody needs to know politics or law, Stephanie Raquel Mays is probably the person you need to go holler at. And if she don't know it, she can find it, and I mean like that. And the reason I know that is because I have to sit there and look at her do her homework, and those papers kick her butt, and those trials kick her butt. Let me tell you something. If a gentleman calls her and say, listen, I am not good with certain type of law, and I see you good at it because you made an A in my class, and you call me, and the teacher recommended that I come talk to you, I am not finna go to my wife and be like, why are you talking to him? If you need to find another female to talk to, you can't talk to him. That's inappropriate. You hating. I'm gonna put it out there. I think you hating on your spouse when somebody come to your spouse because they good at something. You hating on them. I think you as a spouse is hating on your spouse. And you're absolutely correct. It does probably stem from disrespect. But Stephanie, sometimes it doesn't. That's my wife saying it. Sometimes it doesn't. Sometimes people just insecure within themselves because of something that their mama did, or something that their daddy did, or something that their cousin did, or something that their uncle did. Sometimes it has nothing to do with what's currently going on. You're still dealing with something that happened a long time ago. And because you've never gotten over it, or some folks, let me tell you this, some people in marriage need counseling, and I'm not talking about marriage counseling. They do. You should have, that's why I think everybody should have went through premarital counseling. And whether you still went on with your marriage, whether you're supposed to or not, or at the recommendation of the pastor or not, that's on you. But I think everybody should go to premarital counseling because it exposes certain issues that you may not have to deal with today, but at least they're out there in the open. And guess what? You can't say nobody didn't tell you. You knew about that before you got married. You knew about that situation before you got married. So you can't get all upset and bent out of shape because you chose to move on with that. You know what I'm saying? And a lot of things are stemmed because we just carry on and hope things get better, when in reality, you got to deal with that stuff before you marry. If somebody has, watch this, if somebody has an infidelity problem before you got married with them, they're going to have one when you married to them, and you're not going to trust them. So little small things like texting, little small things like conversations with the opposite sex, all of those things are going to cause a trust issue because there was an issue before you got married. That's why I always tell people marriage is relationship times 4. You got to be able to have an extreme relationship with someone before you say, I do. And a lot of times we don't do that. We know them, but we don't have a relationship with them. And that's a problem, because if you can't relate to who they are, what they do, and how they do it, then when they do it, you're going to be in awe and you're going to react inadvertently to what they're doing because you don't have a relationship with them. All right? Let me keep moving. I don't want to be too long. I got about 15 minutes, and that still gives you no right to step back. Oh, absolutely it doesn't. Absolutely. No. Absolutely. You're absolutely correct, Miss Mays. It does not mean that you have the right to cheat or do any of those things just because of this, that, and the other. That's absolutely correct. That's absolutely correct. Let's move forward. Another thing, introducing someone. Listen, let me say this before I go to inappropriate things. If I introduce you to an old, good-looking classmate of mine, that don't mean I'm sleeping with her. Or if he introduced you to an old, good-looking classmate of his, that don't mean he cheating on you. If she introduced you to her ex-boyfriend of high school, but y'all done been married 15, 20 years with 3 kids, 2 houses, a boat, a car, and land and a business, that don't mean she cheating on him and she tired of you. That does not mean that, okay? It does not mean that. Introducing someone is okay. If you are in a marriage and you don't like to be introduced to your husband or your wife's friends or family members, something is wrong. There's a psychological issue there that you need to go get counseling for, because introducing someone is good. Let me tell you why it's good. It's good because it will cut down when you see texts, conversations, hugs, complimenting someone. It will cut down on the inadvertent idea that someone is cheating or lying to you. If you know, watch this, if you know who I deal with or you know who I'm dealing with, then watch this. If I say I was in a conversation, your homegirl or your homeboy come and be like, oh yeah, he was in a conversation or she was in a conversation with such and such, such and such. You're going to be like, so what? I already know who that is. Why? Because you've already been introduced to them. Introduction is good. I introduced my wife to everybody that I know. Now, she don't remember all the names because I know a lot of people. But my wife is introduced to everybody I know. It ain't. Let me tell you this. There is no reason why, if you want to call me, one lady wanted to say, well, hey, listen, I don't feel comfortable about talking to you. So, I want your wife to be there. I don't have a problem with that. My wife has no problem being introduced to. She don't. Now, that don't mean she cool with you, and that don't mean she want to kick it with you. But if you feel it necessary to be introduced to my wife or for me to introduce you to my wife, I have no problem with that. That's appropriate. That's appropriate. That's appropriate for you to introduce your husband to your coworkers or introduce your coworker to your husband, especially if you have conversation or you have to do something with your coworker. Because believe it or not, there are businesses that make people have to work in teams. And unfortunately, there's not always just all being teams. Sometimes they're intermingling teams. There's men and women teams and they have to work together. And some are in relationships, some are not. Some don't look good, some do. Some are sexy, some ain't. I'm just saying, some got higher qualities than the spouse that they got and some don't. I'm just saying. And you have to be more open-minded or tolerable enough to say, well, hey, listen, I would love to be introduced to the people that you're dealing with. Because that cuts down on lack of trust. It cuts down on lying. It cuts down on the possibility of cheating. And a lot of people don't like talking about it, but it just does. Oh, well, I don't feel like I got to explain myself. You're crazy. Yes, you do. Because when you marry, you got to explain everything. My wife is owed an explanation about everything. If something pops up, she has the right to say, you need to tell me about that. You need to talk to me about that. And the problem is we try to look over things that we think is small, but we forget how big it can become and how big it can be to our spouse, even at its smallest form. See, just because you think something small don't mean it ain't big to her. So while it's kind of big to her, but small to you, you need to attack it, because if you don't, guess what? When it get big to you, guess what it is to her? Or vice versa. You understand what I'm saying? So introducing someone is what it is. Even if we don't have a face-to-face introduction, but you know them, hey, listen, baby, that's Don, or that's Zoe, that's Jade, that's Karen, that's, whoever it is. She may not get to meet them personally all the time because my wife is not a personable person. But you need to make sure that your spouse can identify who it is you're dealing with. It doesn't matter who they are and where they come from, because it cuts down on the other things that are appropriate and it keeps them from being deemed as inappropriate. Like my wife said, it clears the air and prevents confusion. It does. I don't have a problem with my wife talking to nobody. I tell her in a minute, hey, babe, they want to talk to you first. My wife respects that. But don't get mad because my wife don't want to have a conversation with you, because it ain't got nothing to do with her. If we're talking about this, that, like I was telling you the situation that happened to me earlier. If we're talking about making films and all that, that ain't got nothing to do. My wife ain't finna sit there and talk about that. That don't interest her not one bit. It just don't. But if you want to know if my wife have a problem with you talking to me, no, I don't mind introducing you to my wife. My wife may not want to be introduced to you, but she will because she understands the significance of the introduction. You understand what I'm saying? That's why introducing someone is appropriate. Don't shy away from somebody saying, hey, listen, babe, I want you to meet such and such. Hey, honey, I want you to meet such and such. Don't shy away from that. Don't do that, because if you walk up in his or her office and you catch them conversating with somebody, especially if they dress nice, look nice, smell nice, act like they're successful and all that, you're going to feel some type of way. And it's going to bring up a conversation that shouldn't even be brought up. You didn't even come there for that. And it ended up being that way all because y'all didn't clear the air. Y'all didn't prevent the confusion beforehand. So yes, introducing someone is cool. You can't go nowhere with me and I can't introduce you to nobody. Expect that. I can't go nowhere. You can't go nowhere with your spouse and think that, oh, okay, well, you just going to sit over in the corner and ain't nobody going to want to know who you are. That's stupid. You can't do that. And too many marriages, and I'm telling y'all this from firsthand experience because I deal with people that have these small problems. They have these small issues. Like, oh, well, he always introduced me to females. Well, that's all he's around. That's what's in. If he's a pastor or he's a minister or he's in the entertainment business or in the photo business or whatever, well, it's a good chance that he's going to be around more females. So to cut down confusion, he may introduce you to more women than me. If she is an executive and she has to work with a team or whatever the case may be, or a pastor or whatever, and she's around more men, and you're going to have to get used to the fact that she's going to be around men, so she needs to introduce you to them. You should be receptive to that. There's nothing wrong with that. She ain't doing it to cover her tracks. He ain't doing it to cover his tracks. They doing it because they want to cut down on confusion. Real talk. So, real quickly, let's talk about some inappropriate things. Let me look at what we got going on. Let me see who's doing it. Okay, cool. So let's look at what's inappropriate. We talked about some things that are appropriate, okay? We talked about some things that are appropriate. Inappropriate things. I'm not going to go through a long list because there's just so much stuff that's inappropriate when it comes to marriage. Real talk, man. There's just so many disrespectful things and inappropriate things that can happen in marriage. One of them is late night texts and phone calls. I'm going to tell you straight up. My wife tells me at a certain time you need to cut off any type of text messages. You see what I'm saying? You can cut off any type of text messages or anything like that. Okay? Because at certain time, unless it's a guy, but at any point that you don't have no reason to be texting the opposite sex at 12 o'clock at night. Okay? Because at 12 o'clock at night, can't nothing get done, you might as well wait till the next morning. I think it's extremely inappropriate if your spouse is texting an opposite, especially if you don't know them. Especially if you don't know them. Or especially if you know this is random. You understand what I'm saying? Nobody at my office texts me at 12 o'clock at night, 11 o'clock at night. Nobody. No female text me. Nobody called me. Nobody's going to go, and you got to go in the other room because everybody else is asleep. So you automatically going to look suspicious because you got to take the phone call, male or female, in another room, and then you got to come back and explain why you had to get a phone call that late at night and you had to go in the other room. So listen, to just secure yourself from that and keep yourself out of that issue, do not take any phone calls or any late night texts. It's completely inappropriate. That's time you should be spending with your loved one. That I've said this many times. Listen, I get excited late at night with my wife because once again, that's when married people do what married people do. I do not want to be interrupted by no phone call in no way. So if you texting me or calling me and it certainly ain't about no money, listen, that's the only understandable thing my wife may see is if you hurt, dying, something's going wrong, or it's about some bread. And I mean a significant amount. But if it's just because you got bored, like I see on Facebook sometimes, guys, who's up? They'll put on there, who's up with me? You know, I can't sleep. And those people that are in relationship that's sitting up here saying, oh, girl, you know, I feel you. I can't sleep neither. And guys will respond, that's inappropriate. If you're in a relationship or you're married, that's inappropriate. That's inappropriate. You asking for trouble. You are asking for trouble. Have a cutoff time. My wife had to tell me this a long time ago, and I'm still getting better with it, but have a cutoff time. After 10 o'clock, after 11 o'clock, whatever the case may be, whatever y'all agree on, no more text messages. I even get on her. I'll get on my wife. Hey, I don't care if it's class or whatever. Hey, they need to hit you up tomorrow. There's no reason for nobody to be texting you. I don't care who it is. At 11, 12, 1, 2 o'clock. It just don't happen. It just shouldn't happen. And I don't trust male nor females. No disrespect. I don't trust whether they males or females. Listen, because you don't know nowadays. I don't know who trying to take a shot nowadays. I'm just saying. So listen, no, that's completely inappropriate. Don't do it. It's not going to end well. Just don't do it. The next thing is explicit conversations on text messages or calls. Explicit conversations. Listen, one of my spiritual daughters received a text message from a pastor. I'm going to say it. And it was not good conversation. It was just not good conversation. You understand what I'm saying? Because even compliments can be taken out of context. Even compliments. I can say, hey, that's a beautiful dress on you. Where did you get that? Because I'm thinking about getting my wife. Oh, I can be like, man, you're so fine in that dress, girl. It just make your butt look like. That's completely inappropriate. Hey, listen, if you ever need me, call me, hey, like I say, around 12 o'clock, I can come over and, I can come. That's inappropriate. You don't have no reason talking to nobody like that. You don't have no reason. And some of y'all do it. Don't act like you don't do it. You do it. And you try to deem it like, oh, no, I was just chilling with it. Man, it wasn't even that serious. Yes, it is that serious. If you are doing explicit conversations, if I look through my wife's stuff and I see explicit conversation that is questionable, that's out of order. That's inappropriate. It shouldn't be none of that. You should be able to read text after text after text. And there should be no reason why somebody should feel like, wait, hold on. Why would you text this? Why would you text this? I remember back when me and my wife was dating, and my baby mama used to send me text messages. And it would be horrible text messages. And my wife would be, she's my girlfriend, she'd be like, why would she text this? If y'all not doing nothing together, why would she text this? It was completely inappropriate. And let me tell you something. It is difficult to explain inappropriate behavior. It is difficult to explain inappropriate situations. You can sit up here and say it ain't that serious. Me and y'all could try to dummy it over and be like, oh man, you tripping. No, she not. No, she not. If he come back and say, hey, listen, I need to know why this man, and you're like, it ain't even that serious. Yes, it is. Yes, it is. Because if they know you married, which goes back to introducing someone, if they know you are married, then you ain't got no reason saying nothing against my marriage or against my spouse that I would even remotely deem as inappropriate. I don't mind text messages, but the context of them, some of y'all writing stuff and it's questionable. There should be no questionable text messages in my phone. There should be no questionable phone calls on my line. There should be none. I don't have to talk like Barry White when I'm talking to another woman. Unless, because I'm loud. So if I'm loud and I'm boisterous when I'm talking on the phone with my wife or anybody else, I need to be loud and boisterous when I'm talking to that other female. It ain't no secrets. I don't get down low and we don't do all that, all up under the covers and, we don't do all that playing music in the back. No, we don't do that. Okay? Inappropriate. Explicit conversations, text messages, calls. Another thing that's inappropriate. I know a lot of people don't like this because you do it. You don't like it because you get caught doing it. And now you got to sit there and explain. You got to explain it now. And you can't explain it because you knew you was wrong from the get-go. You got caught. The next thing is inappropriate. Absolutely, Mr. Stephen. Thank you, sir. The next thing is volatile touching. Listen, let me tell you something. I don't like being touched no way. But all this extra hugging, holding hands and rubbing hands and, your face touching my face and, all, chest to chest. And listen, hey, it's certain types of touching and hugging that's just completely inappropriate. I'm gonna be honest with you anyway. If a woman come to me and she ain't wearing a bra, you can't hug me no way. I'm just gonna be honest with you. If a man is about to hug my wife and your chest out, you can't hug her no way. I'm just gonna keep it 100 with you. I'm gonna jump right in the middle of that. There's just inappropriate touching. That's just volatile touching, groping, and rubbing you on your back. Y'all know what y'all do. Come on now. This is my chance to show you how I feel about you without telling you how I feel about you. And then you end up be like, and your spouse will be like, well, what was that? And you're like, what are you talking about? I'm just giving her a hug. Like, come on, man, quit playing. Women ain't stupid, just like men ain't stupid. Okay? Oh, absolutely. Absolutely, baby. You know me, I'm going to say it anyway, baby. You know how I am. But you touching one another. You rubbing on one another. You holding my hand and want to act like we giving secret handshakes or something. You ain't in the organization I'm in, so we ain't got no business. Hey, let my hand go. You know what I'm saying? Don't rub up, don't do none of that. You ain't got no business rubbing on no married person. The only person that got a reason rubbing on me is my wife. The only person that should rub on my wife is her husband, and vice versa. Y'all quit sitting up here letting people touch all on you and act like that's okay. No, stop that stuff before it gets started. Because if your spouse see it, now you're going to be mad because he don't know this person because you didn't introduce him. But yet all of a sudden, because you cool with them, they rubbing on you a kiki and ha 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 and all in your face. But now I'm getting the wrong idea because I don't know who this guy is. That's why introducing someone makes sense in a marriage. Me and you can't be cool and I don't know your husband. Shout out to Don James Russell. Me and you can't be cool if I don't hear you talk about your husband. If you married and you don't never say nothing about your husband, you married and you don't never say nothing about your wife. Come on, man. Y'all don't be crazy. Don't be crazy. But listen, man, my time is up here, man. I done went over my time, but listen, these are just some things, man, that are just completely inappropriate. I'm sure y'all got a million things that are appropriate and inappropriate in marriage. And all I'm saying is this: if you want to cut down on the mess in your marriage, make sure you already deem what is appropriate and inappropriate within your relationship. Do not allow yourself to get caught in a situation where the enemy is in between your marriage, all because y'all don't have clarity. Do not do it, because the enemy is come here to steal, kill, and destroy. That's kill your relationship, steal your love from your spouse, and destroy any type of family that you're trying to build. I'm telling you, the enemy does not like marriage, and he certainly does not like relationship, because it's something ordained and orchestrated and solidified by God. So he will try to do anything possible to make sure that you do not stay connected in marriage or stay connected in a relationship. I'm telling you. So make sure that you clear the air with your spouse. Make sure you know what's acceptable or non-acceptable. Okay? I'm for real. Because if not, you will find yourself in a situation to where you're questioning, is this the one? It's the right way. Too many men. I've been in too many counseling sessions with married couples, and they're questioning if this is her Adam, or if this is his Eve, because of a situation that all y'all should have done was talked about and got clarity. All you had to do was introduce him to that man, and he never would have questioned, because he would have known from the rip. And watch this. That allows him to build a relationship with the man. Shout out to Ryan Russell. You don't know what bonds you creating by introducing your spouse to another person. So all I'm saying is man, don't neglect these things. Absolutely. My wife says set the standards of boundaries, communication, and respect in your marriage and build on that. Absolutely. Don't wait till something pop off before you want to say, well, I ain't with all that. And no, you should have let them know you wasn't with that from the get-go. If I got a problem with you talking to women or men or whatever the case may be, guess what? I need to communicate that from the get-go. My wife will tell you, I'm liable to communicate exactly how I feel. If I don't like it, I'll tell you I don't like it. I don't trust it. You got to be voiced in your relationship. Too many times people come in, hey, honey, how you doing? And one person go to one side of the room, the other person go to the other side of the room. There's never any conversation. There's never any dialogue. How's your day? What you been doing? But yet y'all get on these phones, and now she end up seeing something that she didn't know nothing about, and now y'all in a heated argument, when in reality, you could have just told her what your day was. Well, we got this new girl that they put on me today because she's a new hire, and I'm now training her. Her name is blah, 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 and now I got to be texting her because she don't know no better. So now when you get caught texting, you can, babe, remember the new girl I was telling you about? Hey, check out the text. That's the new girl I was telling you about. Oh, okay. It cuts down on confusion. It just does. So listen, man, I'm going to get out of here, man. Love you guys with the love of the Lord. Listen, this is the last time I'm going to be talking about Marriage Exposed. I know there's so many things I could talk about, but I got to get to a whole nother topic for next week, y'all. But listen, man, go back, check out part 1 through 4 of Marriage Exposed, man. I hope you guys liked it. If you want to see it, you're more than welcome to check out the Bishop Chronicles podcast Facebook page. But you can also go see it at Bishop Chronicles Podcast on the YouTube channel. Please go to YouTube, man, and subscribe. Listen, we are trying to get to 100 views right now. 100 subscribers right now. So I need each and every person. I need you to go and subscribe to Bishop Chronicles Podcast. Also, man, I would be remiss if I did not say, hey, make sure you guys check out this Saturday at 2:30, Dallas Confidential TV, Internet Talk Show. Please, thank you, Stephen, man. I appreciate you, sir. Make sure you check it out, man. It's a live internet talk show, man. We are in our 4th show, I believe. And, man, it is awesome. So please go to our Facebook page. Please go to our YouTube channel and our Instagram page and tell us what you would like to see, hear, and give us your comments and concerns. We'd love to see it. Also, man, do me a favor. Make sure you guys mark on your calendar March 22nd through the 24th. We have our first annual men's conference right here in Dallas, Texas. Got some wonderful speakers, an awesome workshop on the 23rd. And listen, I'm telling you, man, it is just going to be powerful. So as of right now, it's still going on. But y'all know because the coronavirus is tentative. And if you find yourself in the Dallas-Fort Worth area, y'all make sure y'all stop by Kingdom Faith Empowerment Center at 900 East Beltline Road, DeSoto, Texas. But you could always stream live, join us streaming live every Saturday, every Sunday at 2 p.m. and 7 p.m. And also on Tuesday for Bible study at 1 p.m., 7 p.m. If you would like to be a blessing to Kingdom Faith Empowerment Center, visit us at our website at kfecdallas.com. Listen, I am excited, man. Thank you guys so much for joining me. Listen, I don't want to forget, if you guys would like to be sponsors of this show, please do me a favor. Text me, call me, 214-325-3529. Or you could just be a blessing, man, and drop some change at Cash App, Dr. Holly Mays. But do me a favor, make a habit that you include us in everything that you do. Please hashtag Bishop Chronicles Podcast. Guys, I love you with the love of the Lord. Remember to uplift Christ wherever you go. And do me a favor, make the rest of your day the best of your day, man. I love you guys. Until I see you again, peace. But I've been Baptist, I've been in the Methodist Church, all of that. Be honest.